This is the Sports Hit List by the fans for the fans.
Are we being brainwashed to believe that the NBA is on the decline because we're shooting too many threes, load management? I was watching NBA Inside the NBA, and Chuck was talking about how, he's not watching a 3-point contest. We talked about load management. Mike sent me an article from Yahoo Sports where they discussed that it's a myth that the NBA is on the decline. I responded to Mike by saying, listen, we talk about ratings on the decline. Television has shifted to not to traditional TV. We don't watch TV the same way no more. We don't watch TV by watching Channel 2. We're streaming content. We're watching games later on by, or watching highlights differently. So the NBA is consumed differently. In addition to that, and what Mike's article stated is that the NBA just picked up $1 billion deal with Amazon and NBA and NBC. If the NBA was on the decline, why are other, prime networks wanting to tap into that audience? However, on the contrary, Mike and I have discussed where we exchange plays. Why is this player taking a 3-point shot on a wide open lane? The 2-on fast break, you're pulling up for a 3-pointer. What kind of brand of basketball are we watching now? So, Mike, is the NBA really on the decline, or are they just trying to make us believe that it is?
Big cap. The NBA is not on no decline. And that's what we're conflating is disapproval with style, with viewership.
Talk about it, Mike.
And so those two things get conflated to where we now think because we don't like, some people don't like the style of play, that means viewership is down. But again, as that Yahoo Sports article noted, we cannot view NBA viewership based on just a singular number of linear television according to Nielsen ratings. No, you have to go by social media impressions. And for those that say, who cares about social media? Go apply for a job. If you get a job right now in your contract, it's going to say, when you sign the job, it's going to have this little section called social media policy. So companies care about your social media. This is not 2001. So social media matters a lot. So when you look at the NBA, you have to look broader. You can't just isolate to who's watching linear television and cable television. So when we talk about jersey sales, or when we talk about valuations of team franchises, the number one valued franchise is the Golden State Warriors, $9 billion. So where is the decline? Players are making more than they've ever made. So where is the decline? It doesn't exist. It's a myth. So we have to stop conflating your disapproval of people shooting threes with people enjoying the NBA. Those are not the same things.
Well, you know what, Mike? Let me push back on that because, again, we've had this conversation. And I'm sure I've talked to Mike with other people. We're watching the game, and you're getting annoyed. You're like, bro, like we said about my team, they averaged 53s a game, and the game they played against the Bulls, they had a high of 104. If me and you are diehards and we're saying this is getting ridiculous, what is the casual fan saying? It's a fair question. The casual fan is like, I'm not watching this. Are they not?
The casual fan is used to an era of shooting threes. The casual fan isn't us. So a younger demographic, they've already grown up with watching people shoot threes. So for them, it doesn't matter. As we said, Zig is a coach, I'm a coach. These little kids shoot threes all the time. So they don't care about watching people shoot threes. All these little kids buy Mellows. LaMelo Ball shoots 14 threes a game. So they don't care about
and
this.
Deep.
This is their style of basketball.
Feet. Yeah.
So, Ziggs, what are your thoughts here? Is the NBA on the decline as far as gameplay? Are you not watching games because you think you're going to see a high volume shots, or is it still, where do you think the NBA is right now as far as content versus what they're claiming to be a decline in ratings?
I'm not watching the games because the season's too damn long. That's my only that's really my only reason. Like I think maybe Carl, you already know I had the NBA League Pass since what, November? I'm now starting to utilize it. You know what I'm saying? Because I just feel like the NBA games are too long. NBA season's too long. Andres mentioned it earlier. Like, why are we checking standings before Christmas? Right? Because people say the games don't really start really mattering until into the new year or after the All-Star break. But Mike brought up a lot of good points. You know, I mean, I didn't even think about the social media imprint because you look at these young kids that are coming up now, they're growing up in a time where they're seeing nothing but threes. So to them, that's normal. We came up watching basketball with 90s. So we know that there's a different transformation from that time to now. And the casual fan, I don't even think the casual fan watches the entire 4 quarters of an NBA game. Most
Mhm.
times, what they're doing is they're looking at the highlights. Oh, this is what da 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 da,
And
and
the
then they
box score. Yeah. Talk about
and
it,
the box
Zig.
score. That's it.
Talk
Because
about
most
it.
of these kids, they know the players. They talk about John Morant, they talk about Luka, they talk about Jason Tatum, but they're not watching the game in its entirety. You know what I'm saying? They're just not doing that. So I gotta kind of agree with Mike in that instance that social media plays a huge role. Like look at House of Hoops, look at
House of
all
highlights.
stat line, House of Highlights. Thank you, sorry.
No, you're
The
good, bro.
stat all these real NBA content, like all of these Instagram pages that are out there, a lot of people are flooding those pages and they're getting a lot of information from that and a lot of their knowledge from that particular site. So yeah, the viewership may be down in terms of the Nielsen ratings, but people are still paying attention. Like we're not just handing out billion-dollar deals for no reason.
Andres, anything else to add to what we already said as far as
Yeah, no.
the quality of the game itself, as far as the high
So
volume of threes versus not?
my thing is, right, we're all mathematicians, right? 3 is greater than 2. The only difference between 2002 and 2024 is that Udonis Haslem, instead of being 28 feet from behind the line, he's 32 feet. Like, I don't understand why people are making such a big deal. If you go on YouTube, YouTube is free. You go on YouTube, you look up Celtics Lakers 2008. You're gonna see Baby Davis like in the paint, then you're gonna see Kobe like on the semicircle. You're gonna see Rondo, and Rondo, so if Rondo is 20 feet out, it's a good shot. If Rondo is 24 feet out, it's a bad shot. Like, that's the only difference between basketball in 2005 and basketball now. Like, people are gonna find a way to complain about it regardless. And you know what that's called, Carl? Nostalgia. Everyone is bringing nostalgia. They're like, oh, back in my day. And it's funny because when I was a kid, people used to talk to me about nostalgia because they missed basketball 20 years ago. In 2040, people are gonna miss this era of basketball. Like I'm not trying to single out anyone. I'm sure anyone has an influence, but like Steph, Harden, and Mike D'Antoni, they probably revolutionized the game in terms of like the 3-point shooting. And like Mike has been saying, this is all these kids know nowadays. Like, how many times have you gone into an open gym in like high school and see kids shoot from like 40 feet out, 30 feet out instead of working on the fundamentals or like the mid range game? Like, the only difference between 2005 and now is literally 3 feet. Grayson Allen, do you really want Grayson Allen shooting mid rangers or shooting a 3-pointer? Derek White, no disrespect, one of the best role players in the NBA. Do you want him shooting the mid range or do you want him shooting from 30 feet out? Like Peyton Pritchard. Look at Peyton Pritchard, bro. He's hooping this season. Hold on, I'm still cooking. Hold on, I'm not done yet. Peyton Pritchard. Do you want him shooting like inside the mid range or do you want him shooting from behind the 3-point line? Karl Anthony Towns, one of the best big shooting men the game has seen. Do you want him from shooting from 25 feet or 35 feet? Like, it's just stupid and pathetic, and people just find new ways to complain about something. If you don't like the NBA, just turn the TV off. There's gonna be more people that are gonna watch it. And so,
Let's, oh,
hold
go
on,
ahead,
I'm
Andres.
not done yet. I got one more point. Social media impressions.
Mhm.
CM Punk and Roman Reigns did 100 million views on Instagram, and WWE saw that overnight, and they're like, you know what? Maybe we should pivot. Like, that shit matters, like Mike said. All right, I'm done with my rant.
Listen, I guess I'm the older. I guess I'm the old man. Like when Mike and I are complaining about it. And don't get me wrong, when I'm watching the Celtics shoot a high volume of threes, I'm kind of like crutching myself. What up they made it? I'm like, all right, I have no reason to complain, right?
Oh,
But then,
brother.
but then when they miss it, I'm kind of like,
Oh,
bro, if you're
brother.
on a fast break and you stop and you pull up for a three, that bothers me. That's
This
got to
guy,
bother any NBA fan.
oh,
My
bro, this guy.
Zig, am I wrong to say that?
You're not wrong, but have you played ball that much?
No, I haven't. So there you
Right?
go.
So
Okay.
like
Yeah.
and a couple of things because Andres was cooking. I was really waiting. I was waiting for you to finish respectfully, unlike Carl Andres. So two things, right? I got this written down. I mentioned Golden State and Mike D'Antoni as the reason as this whole three-point revolution started. I call it revolution because that's what it is.
Yeah.
Um, they said a 40% three-point shooter averages 1.2 points per shot. A 50% two-point shooter averages 1 point per shot. So now you're bringing in analytics, right? That's backing up everything that these guys are constantly doing now. And another thing, two more things, sorry. I feel like the media shapes the casual fan or the person that doesn't think outside the box, right?
Yep.
If
Mhm.
Chuck says one thing, everybody runs with it. If Chuck, Kenny, and Shaq says one thing, everybody just runs with it. You know what I'm saying? They don't
100%.
really think outside of the box, or they don't think for themselves. You understand what I'm saying? Um, there's so much more into it, but it's just like when you have the analysts criticizing the game, everybody's like, oh, well, they're saying that. Yeah, that's a good point. I played basketball. I didn't play on NBA level. I played basketball. Mike can attest to that. If we're on a fast break, I'm shifting out to the wing. I'm not going into the paint. I'm shifting straight out to, and I was doing that before Steph Curry was doing what he was doing in the NBA. A lot of guys, Mike, on instances, we on a fast break. Mike is shifting out to the wing because what do we do? What are we trying to do? We're trying to create spacing, which is one of the biggest things that we're constantly seeing now in today's NBA. So
Mike,
what we're basically seeing now is gym basketball in the NBA. Honestly, just gym basketball in the NBA.
Zig talking facts, and let me elevate that by you don't have to take our word for it as just regular basketball players. I sent Carl the video. Cam Johnson of the Brooklyn Nets was on JJ Redick's old podcast, Old Man in the Three, and he explicitly said, as Sue Bird asked him, well, what would you do on a fast break or it's a 2-on-3? Are you shooting a three? He said, yes. He said, I'm shooting three. He said, if we're playing pickup and the three is a two and the two is a one, I'm taking the two. We all know it just on in regular street ball. If we play in full court and we made the 3-point line a 2-pointer, everybody's going to try to shoot a two to get either the game over faster because there's other people on the sidelines. And it's in those street ball games and pickup,
they take forever, yo.
Jim, if you lose, you're not going to play for another hour and a half. So you might as well go home.
Talk about it.
So you trying to win as fast
Especially
as you're
playing half court.
so you could stay. So if that three becomes a two, you in there. And so Cam Johnson, an active NBA player, young guy, but about 26, 27, he's saying, I'm shooting that three. So it's two ways to look at it. When you look at, is it beneficial for everyone? The answer is no, because the leading scorer this year is Giannis. He takes 1 3 a game. The leading scorer last year, I think, was either Joel Embiid, but he didn't have enough games.
It was Luka.
It was either Luka or Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid's taking 4 or 5 threes a game. So you can get more points by taking twos because it's a better shot for you. Now, Steph Curry, perfect example. Last night, they're down 1 against my Pacers. Steph, instead of just going for an easy 2, he pulled back to shoot a 3. Now, mind you, he was already 2 for 12, so he shouldn't have taken the shot. It was a stupid shot, but again, it's Steph Curry. So I think part of the problem is it's too many people taking threes, but even then I can't complain that much because when we talk about skill set, is it that Shaq didn't shoot threes or is it that Shaq couldn't shoot threes?
Thanks for watching the Sports Hit List. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. In fact, do it now.